So first of all, simple question, why are you running to become Copeland's next MP?
It's a very good question. It's because there's a growing and quite sizable growing dissatisfaction with national politics per se here, that is here in Whitehaven and Copeland. We think that the National Party political machine, i.e. the main parties, have done Copeland no favours at all over the years. For all the opportunities that have cropped up politically here, this should be a really vibrant, buzzy place, lots of employment, etc., etc. But it isn't. It's totally run down. We've got Sellafield, and that's it, the one big employer. There should be loads more than that. So that was basically it. It was feedback from the community, people coming to me and saying, there's this, that, and the other, and then all of a sudden somebody come up and said, I think you should stand in this parliamentary as Jamie's retired. He stood down, and I thought, well, I don't know about that. So I gave it about 3 weeks thinking, and then I decided, well, somebody should, and I have. I'm pretty passionate about the fact that, I don't agree now with National Party politics the way it is, with the whip system and all that. They're really not helping the people at all. So I think that's it, Michael. That's why I've stood.
So what experience would you say that you have to become Copeland's next MP?
Oh, I've been a councillor down south in Epsom and Youghal. I was a councillor, 2 stints down there. I've done loads of campaigning. I did a 10-year campaign down in Epsom to save a horse racing yard from Lord Halifax, who wanted to bulldoze it down. He didn't really know he had it on his books, but he did. In the end, we saved that. I've been heavily involved in local politics. I've been to the sharp end of, say, in Epsom and Youghal, which is the 4th safest Conservative seat in the country. I've seen, as an independent resident association councillor, I've seen how the Conservatives work, in their heartland. Now I've come up here, I've seen it from the other end. I've seen the Labour Party, has been dominant here for yonks, but it is a backwater in a way, politically. It's in a mess. I've done the other side. I've dealt with the Irish Embassy a lot when I was running charities, the Irish Welfare in South London charity, and I was the chairman of the Irish Charitable Trust. So I've seen it from not exactly international level, because Ireland's only across the water, but I've seen it at a higher level, dealing with the ambassador and his staff in the Irish Embassy. I've also, when I was a councillor at Epsom and Youghal, I actually sat on a government task group, 12 of us, at the LGA, the Local Government Association, doing the negotiation between the Treasury and the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister, who was John Prescott at the time. There was a massive overspend on what they had as the Supporting People programme. And I sat on that until we sorted that out. It was quite a few millions that was overspent. So I think I've got all that sort of experience, and the thought of Westminster does not frighten me one iota. It spurs me on that I can start to sort of get stuck in to try and do something for West Cumbria, which is forgotten. It's forgotten as far as Westminster is concerned.
So what would be your top priorities for the area then, Michael?
Top priorities is employment in the town. We need to encourage other employers rather than just Sellafield on its own. Sellafield is going to be around as it is in the format that it's in for hundreds of years to come. So it would need more people. We need more diverse employment opportunities. We need educational opportunities. We've got the Whitehaven Academy, which is in a mess, to say the least. And we need centres of excellence. We need some real lateral thinking when it comes to development, as it were, of and raising the standards and the quality of life of the people of Copeland. We've got Copeland's very unique in that, at the top end it's got Whitehaven, and then at the bottom end it's got Millom, and in between there's a few, there's Cleatormore and Eglewant, but then there's a massive rural area. So it's quite diverse. And for the amount of money that's gone through this area, really the areas of deprivation in Whitehaven shouldn't be here, but they are. And there's serious deprivation in Whitehaven that shouldn't be. So it's addressing that infrastructure. Why is the A66 a B road virtually? It's an hour from Penrith, from anywhere else across those mountains to get to here. If you go down to Millom, the roads there goes from a sort of just a small road all the way from Eglewant down to Millom, and then it shrinks down to virtually a cart track to get into Millom. So there's all that stuff as well around infrastructure.
So you talk about lack of opportunities and Sellafield, dominating the area. What other opportunities or industries or businesses would you like to see come into the area? I mean, what would you do as a Member of Parliament to try and diversify job opportunities?
Well, I'd try and encourage from the education point of view with the universities. We've got the centre up there for Lancaster University. I'd like to see that be more done, the education side of it coming in. I'd like to see the government get more actively involved to facilitate products which are really, I don't view the nuclear, as they call it, nuclear waste. I view that forget the word waste. It seems to me that is materials for products, and I'd like to see more innovative technical opportunities being created here that will use what they call waste at the moment.
So moving on to the other potentially big local issue in this by-election, the West Cumberland Hospital and the potential problems that it would face. If you were a Member of Parliament, how would you look to address the problems that hospital faces?
Well, I'd say to the health minister, you can't just walk away and say, issues on that, we've got the NHS is in a mess, but issues to do with our hospital at Whitehaven here, Cumberland, is down to local people or local decisions to be made. The people that are making the decisions on that hospital are not local. I think on the board, there's only one that is local, that's in West Cumbria. The others are all from the east side of the country. And I'd try and work with the minister to say, you just can't say, step back and say that's nothing to do with us. It really is local. There is you can't have a situation here where there is no hospital with services, maternity, or consultant-led services. You just can't really have it. So I would work with the minister on that. Well, I'd be on his door every day, banging in there, saying, what are you going to do? My personal view about that hospital is, I'd like to see that sort of really be, but it's too radical, I think. I'd like to see it be taken over by the local community, and the local community should be running that hospital, not the NHS or the government via the NHS. I'm not saying that the NHS shouldn't pay for it. I think the NHS should pay for it, but the actual running of it should be between the professionals and the community at large.
Moving on now to the the biggest potential national issue of the day, which is of course Brexit. Can I ask, were you in favour of leaving the European Union?
Yes, I was, and if I was living in Epsom, I would be.
And yes. Can I ask what your personal reasons were behind voting that way?
Well, watching it over the years, the thing that got me was the eroding of the sovereignty of this country, basically, the UK, and that's what it seems to me. I mean, I was in the army, and I've been around a bit, and I've been over to Ukraine a couple of years back to have a look at that, just interest, and I'm proud of my country. I'm proud of everything I've ever done that's linked with the country. even running the Irish charities. They said I was an Englishman, never an Irishman. And I do believe that this country should be sovereign. And the opportunities for this country to grow is to be out of Europe, not in it. Europe, if Europe changes, it would take so many generations for it to change. I think it's like a massive elephant. So I believe that it should be, we should be out, and I've always thought that. I'm looking out my window now, looking at the fishing boats that are in Whitehaven Harbour. There's only a couple, and they're tiny. And they can't really afford to go out, or they do go out, but they only go out for a few hours overnight and come back again. But very, very often, you don't see them going out at all. And I think that is part and parcel of the European fishing industry, that the mess it's in.
Now, the government are planning on, well, Copeland as an area, does a lot of trade with Europe, and the government have announced plans that we will be leaving the single market. Do you not think there's a potential that could damage businesses and companies within Copeland in terms of how we trade with Europe?
No, I don't. The businesses in Copeland, this is what I'm saying, this is run down, this area. It's not Coventry, it's not Manchester, it's not Liverpool or London. There's very few businesses here to be damaged, but I don't believe they will be damaged. I think that leaving, it will raise more opportunities here. If central government are looking at encouraging people to locate here, for example, cutting down on the sort of business taxes and all corporation tax and all that, this is prime. We should be encouraging foreign companies to come in here and help us with this so-called nuclear waste and new products, education. The universities, should be here. Campuses should be here. We should be doing research and development with other countries, but we don't have to be in Europe to do that. I think being out of Europe will give us a greater opportunities to address that.
And my final question, Michael, do you realistically think you have a chance of winning this by-election as an independent candidate?
Well, yes, I do. I mean, when I say that, I was quite sceptical at the beginning when I was asked. But, having the amount of people that have come up to me and spoke to me, especially now I've put my name in the ring, is amazing. So there is a groundswell under here, and I think, I think we do have a big chance of winning.